Hello everyone, I am back with another video finally after a couple of months of having anything on this channel where I actually speak directly to you. A few weeks back I posted a video with a link to my TEDx presentation in TEDx Grand Forks, North Dakota, so I hope that you enjoyed, those of you that clicked over to find that link. I hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I woke up this morning feeling like I needed to post something. I needed to process and say some things about what was going on in Baltimore in light of Freddie Gray's death. And then I saw the news about the charges that have been leveled against the officers involved, and I thought, I definitely need to say something today. Today is the day to do it. And the reason for that is I've been sort of mulling over this concept. I'm calling it the racial tension interstate, because that's sort of how I think. I'm coming to understand that I think in metaphors and analogies, and I see my role as a commentator on these types of events, and always sort of centering around this idea of compassionate understanding and of productive conversations. And so the perspective for the racial tension interstate sort of came out of this idea that I was watching the events in Baltimore unfold, and I was watching the reactions of people on the internet and elsewhere as they were seeing the events unfold and responding to the events unfold. And I remember thinking to myself as I was watching some of these heated discussions, really angry discussions, and a lot of personal offense being taken, the word road rage just kept coming into my head, that I was like, this is road rage. We have people who have information that is different than us. We have people who have more information than we do, and traffic, the flow of traffic, the flow of information is backed up, and people are responding with road rage. And so I started to sort of think to myself, what would that look like if I fleshed that idea out to sort of help conceptualize what I think has been going on as people have been processing Baltimore, and what I think would be productive moving forward. And so I created this concept of the racial tension interstate, and I hope that it's valuable to you, and that you can use it in your own conversations, or even just keep it in the back of your mind as you're talking about Baltimore, or any issue that brings up a lot of racial tension, and the most productive ways and the most compassionate ways to move through those types of conversations. So, without further ado, the racial tension interstate. So, if you consider the idea of the everyday highway, the everyday interstate, there are going to be three main types of people that are on the road. You've got your everyday citizens, people just driving to work, picking up the kids, doing their thing, using the interstate to get there. And then you have these people that I like to call solo road ragers. They are always seeming to be in a hurry and always angry about it. Like, they're darting in and out of traffic really aggressively. You might find that they just flip you off for no reason, and you're like, why? When did you get so mad? What did I do to make you so mad? They just always seem to be flying really in and out of traffic without cause. They just seem to always be mad. Those are the solo road ragers. Then you've got the clueless mergers, the people that are on their phones, maybe they're eating in their car, or maybe they're just unfamiliar to a city interstate. Maybe they've never driven on one before, they don't quite know all the rules of the road, and so they're just sort of like aimlessly sliding between lanes, cutting people off and not even realizing it. They're equally as dangerous as the solo road ragers, but the source is different, right? Like, they're not so intent on, driving and getting to their destination that they're, recklessly endangering everyone around them. They're endangering people around them because they're not focused on where they're going, because they're ignorant of the path of their vehicle, essentially. So those are the three main types of people you'll have on the road. You've got your everyday citizens, your solo road ragers, and your clueless mergers. But also on the highway alongside these main types of people, you've got mainstream media. They're like the semis on the highway. and I relate them to semis because they're slow to accelerate. They don't really pick up that quickly. They've got massive blind spots. And I can't think of anyone who gets on a highway, finds themselves behind a semi truck, and goes, "Oh, yay! My day's made now." You know, we all get frustrated by semis. We all get frustrated by the mainstream media. They don't quite move in a way that represents all of us. But the reality is they can't, right? They're too big to do that. They aren't going to reflect all of us. They are going to have massive blind spots based on the nature of what they are. And they're kind of a necessary evil, right? Like, we have to have a means of transporting all this information, right? We have to have a way of doing that. But that's the price of it, is that they aren't gonna work well with all of us. They aren't going to move as quickly or be able to see everything that we want them to be able to see. That's the nature of a semi truck. That's the nature of mainstream media. So any one of these entities, a mainstream media, semi, an everyday citizen, a solo road rager, or a clueless merger, can find themselves in an accident. Any one of these, it can happen. Everyday people find themselves in accidents all the time. That's why they're called accidents, you know. But more reckless behavior, a solo road rager or a clueless merger, might find themselves in an accident more quickly than someone who's being more mindful of the road around them. But the bottom line here is that accidents block the flow of traffic, and those results can impact cars miles away. Right? So in those situations, everyday citizens are sort of put in a situation where they might become a solo road rager or a clueless merger. We might find ourselves feeling so angered by the situation when we can't see what's going on and the flow of information is stopped that we get frustrated. We might find ourselves in a situation where we're just so enamored with what's going on that our eyes aren't on the road and we're not paying attention to what's going on around us, and we're contributing to the further slow of the flow of traffic. So my challenge to you is, don't become a solo road rager. Don't become a clueless merger. Acknowledge whatever you're feeling, certainly. Acknowledge the accident on the side of the road, but channel your reactions appropriately, right? Call 911, pull over if you can help, say a prayer if you're religiously inclined or feel led to do that kind of thing. Find however you can help productively, but do so in a way that's compassionate to the fact that you don't have all the information and that there might be somebody else who has different information than you or might have more information than you. Stay informed, but be compassionate and be productive in your actions. Keep your eyes on the road. And if you can't keep your eyes on the road, if you are somebody who feels led to pull over or call 911, then keep your focus on the issue at hand. Don't try and turn it into something else. Don't make it about you when it's not about you. Just be compassionate, be mindful, and be patient. As hard as that might sound, and I know that there might be people who are like, did she just say be patient in the light of some of the stuff that's happened in Baltimore? I understand that might sound a little bit naive or wishy-washy or lukewarm, and that's not my intent at all. But nobody gets anywhere by rushing into things. We have to communicate with each other. We have to organize collectively and productively, and then have actions that make change in a way that that is long-standing. How's that? We want change that's long-standing, not something that's going to make me feel better right this second, but not actually fix anything in the long run. And I'm a firm believer in that, in the need for us to work together in that, and the need for us to not profile each other, and the need for us to not jump to conclusions. I'm sort of leaving my metaphor right now, but I'm tying back into, as I mentioned, the central theme of all of my videos that I've shared here before, which is just to be compassionate and be productive in your discussions and in your actions. Think long term. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the prize. What are you trying to achieve? I think that if we can do that, if we can work collaboratively, work compassionately, work productively towards very, very clear goals, that we're going to see the change that we need. At least that's my hope. That's my hope. So I hope, again, that this has been helpful for you in some way, to think about this issue or issues of racial tension in general. And like I said, feel free to use it in conversation or just to use it in personal meditation as you think about this stuff and as you move forward with your day. Be compassionate, be productive, and we'll get there.